Hello?
Girl,
Girl,
what
what
page
page
you
you
on?
on?
I'm literally double fisting a coffee and a Rebel from Dutch Bros.
I have a
Right, so-
lemonade from one of Dan's coworkers' daughters was selling lemonade at the corner, which is really
Oh,
Oh,
that's
it's so
so
cute.
cute.
I paid
All
like
right.
$3.
Welcome everybody to Girl, What Page You On, where we are easily sidetracked by books, coffee, little girls selling lemonade, and anything in between. Today we are covering book 3 of Crescent City, part 1. And what are we going to be needing, Kayla?
Unlike our notes, a spoiler warning. Just because there's context in that, I promise. But spoiler warning, this is book 3, part 1, not book 2, part 2, or anything like that. This is the last in the series, which is so sad. But we're ready. And other than that, I think we need a 33rd debrief.
All right, so we need to do a quick debrief because a lot has happened. So I'm going to do my best to summarize it in the 33rd style. We open to Bryce being questioned by Amryn, Rhysand, and Azriel. She gives them half truths, which doesn't exactly go over well, and it may land her in a dungeon. Naturally, she escapes only to be tailed by Azriel and Nesta. The three of them team up and work their way through a cave system, fight off the Midgard worm, and eventually find a hidden underground room covered in carvings and a giant carving of the eight-pointed star that is on Bryce's chest. So here we get a deep dive into the history of the Fae, the Asteri, and Midgard through a pre-recorded astral projection. It reminds me of one of those rooms where you step into in a museum where all of a sudden this voice just speaks to you. That's exactly what I was imagining. And because this is Bryce, they fall into yet another secret room and they find a mummified Asteri locked in a sarcophagus. The Asteri wakes up, gives them even more creepy information, and Bryce decides it's a good idea to let her out. Then Bryce and Nesta have to team up to kill her before she can come back to full power. A lot to unpack here later. Meanwhile, Hunt, Ruhn, and Baxian are still being tortured, while Lydia, who is still undercover as the Hind, and pretending to be Pollux's lover, she starts putting together a plan to break them out. She gets a secret message to Declan to hack the cameras, and she enlists Erithis, the queen of the fire sprites, to help. A plan is in motion, but Hunt, Ruhn, and Baxian make an early and very bad escape attempt, where Baxian bites off Ruhn's hand. Lydia manages to inject them with a Medwitch healing drug, pretending she's prepping them for better torture later, but she's really buying them time to heal for the real escape. Over with Therian, he's still stuck under his incredibly stupid oath to the Viper Queen. Ethan, Flynn, and Declan work on a way to get him out. They also have Sigrid, the wolf mystic that they rescued in book 2, with them. After some negotiations, the Viper Queen agrees they can all walk free if Ethan fights just one little match for her. He agrees, only to find out that he has to fight Sigrid. In a brutal and heartbreaking scene, Ethan accidentally beheads her. The Viper Queen holds up her end of the bargain and lets him go, but as they leave, the fire sprites burn her palace to the ground. Safe to say she's going to want revenge later. Ethan is racked with guilt, and instead of leaving with Theri on deck and Flynn, he turns back to right his wrong. More on that later. We end part 1 with Bryce opening a portal back to Midgard, Therian, Deck, and Flynn making it to the depth charger, and we have a whole lot of questions for part 2.
Dun,
Lots.
dun,
I
dun.
know. I know.
There's so much emotional trauma, emotional damage. In the first part, Sarah J did not hold back. Usually, this is like a mid-section book, and this time it was all. What's the term from the Hunger Games? Everything has changed. Um, but yeah, roller coaster, emotional roller coaster.
I
What are your
feel
guys'
like
thoughts on Bryce and our Akatar loving crew?
It was so nice to see them all together. Because like the end of the second book, that was like the big like mic drop ending where it's like, oh my God, this is how it finally crosses over. After two whole books, Ashley, we finally see what you meant when you said there's some crossover. So it was really great. It's always amazing spending time with the Bat Boys. And we love a spicy girl Nesta. So getting to see Nesta and Bryce side by side is like really amazing. And you would think like under different circumstances, they probably would be like really good friends. And they have great rapport. And they seem to kind of like have this understanding of each other in some senses. They're so similar that they kind of like butt heads at the beginning, but it's like really amazing to see these two
Their
characters
spice level
on
just
the page.
raises, and I loved it so much. Even though, like, you had to like look at it like, okay, Akatar crew has this girl show up in hot pink sneakers and leggings. Like, what the fudge is going on? And then Bryce getting drafted and saying Bat Boys and like this elegant medieval world kind of thing. It was different. But I gotta ask, what were your thoughts on the exchange between Nesta and Az?
What exchange? Which one?
Like the fact that that is the two people that went with Bryce. Not her and
Yeah.
Cassian, not her and Amryn, her and Azriel.
Yeah,
Like
I
we
thought that was an
get
interesting choice.
I guess it is interesting now that I'm thinking about it. I think of it when I was like, why Asriel? I guess it makes sense because he was like hiding in the
Hiding in the
shadows.
shadows.
But
Yeah, I was
like,
thinking the same.
but why him? I think Cassian is too much of like, well, Asriel's also their questioner. So it makes
Yeah,
sense that he would be there because Asriel is the best at getting secrets out of people.
yeah,
Not that he was torturing her at all. And I think he can also tell when someone's lying. Did you pick up on that? Like, I don't know if it was in the Akatar series or not. I guess we should probably have a spoiler alert for Akatar as well because we're probably going to cover some of that stuff here. But
Yeah.
I don't remember them saying like, oh, I just remember like he has his ways, right? But like
yeah,
it seemed like there was a point where Rhysand kind of like looks at Azriel and he's like, she's lying. Like he
yeah.
just knows. So maybe that's why
Well, I
that
just
was
thought
too
the
much.
team up was like really in like it was really oddball, but like thinking like they work so well together.
It's
Like
nice to
it kind
see
of fits.
Azriel and Nesta together because we get so much
Yeah.
of Nesta and Cassian and Feyre and Rhysand, right? But we don't really get Azriel and her together. It was really
Yeah,
nice.
we
Yeah.
didn't get to see a huge friendship development between the two. Even Nesta and Amryn have, a rocky relationship, but still progress and stuff. So Nesta and Az was there the entire time through Solar Flame. So of course that they
Yeah,
would
but he
have
wasn't
like
prevalent. Like he was just the
he
babysitter
was
that would
there the
walk in on
whole
awkward
time.
moments.
He
But
knows Nesta really well.
yeah,
More
I
than
mean,
he probably wants to.
sister-in-law.
He knows Nesta as well as you know each other after staying in a room at Orlando together.
Yeah. Yeah.
True that.
Uh,
All right.
There's so our trio of hotties, Ruhn, Hunt, and Baxian being tortured. I have to totally admit that like was I don't know if visceral is the correct term for this, but like ill just all around reading that and then hearing Ruhn say you're gonna have to bite my hand off. Like, ugh, like I was just like, oh my God, oh my God. This is like some Hannibal Lecter horror film type of a thing. Like I get it, but like, and I get it's gonna grow back, but it's not like it's you're escaping. You're just taking your hand off to reach something. You're not get like I just
also,
I
wait, I didn't
struggled.
understand how he
Struggled.
was going to reach something without a hand. I know he's going to get his hand out of the thing, but then how's he going to get it?
So
The
if their
only
Does he not have
hands
a
are
hand?
like this and he's able to remove a hand from here and the how I
The
imagine.
shackle
His
would leap.
shackles were looped through a hoop, so his hands were being able to do this. But if he could remove this, then his hand goes all the way out here instead of just being able to go here.
That's what
You
That's
I
what I
think
was
thought
that they
too.
could
thinking.
just bite off like a thumb? Like if I bit my thumb off, I could right out of something.
There's a horror
Guaranteed.
movie with that in it, where the guy
Isn't it
literally
Saw?
bites his thumb. Is it Saw? I don't know, but
I feel like that
I
happens
remember
in
being
Saw.
scarred.
See,
You
you
could
guys
just
have.
dislocate your thumb.
So, Sam, what was your overall thoughts? Kayla was disgusted. What were yours?
So I'm listening to the dramatized audiobook and they do some sound effects. So there's some like crunching, yeah, and some like wet thudding.
It was
Like
awful.
yeah, it's not good. I think at one point I was like, I gotta skip this. Or like I was like, all right, we're good with the torture. I'm okay with it. Um,
And
yeah.
maybe this is where the difference in listening and reading it, like, totally grossed out, like, oh my gosh. But at the same time, like I liked Pat, like that was just like a small thing and what's going on with the three of them. And I was like, this is like full on bros got caught at a party kind of moment of like how they were talking to each other and the thought processing and stuff. I like seeing the teamwork. I like seeing the bro got bro back. Like, okay,
Romance.
we're on the same level of thought right now. This is our priorities. We're lined up. So
Yeah,
I kind of like it.
they definitely like team together here. Like this is where like it solidifies their friendships because like
Yeah.
Ruhn and Hunt like get along, but now after going through this experience, you can tell their bond is so much deeper. And then now they like confirmed Baxian, right? As
Yeah.
part of sorry, excuse me. They confirmed Baxian as like part of their crew now and that they can fully trust him. Because remember at the end of like the second book, he was like, "Can I come with you guys?" And they're like, "No,
Yeah.
we have secrets. We're not telling you." But now they're like, now he's in the loop. Now he's trusted. And Baxian has a funny response. Because at the end of this, they're all like, "What is like what is like?" They start to like key in that Lydia is trying to get them out.
Hmm.
And Baxian's like, "What the fuck? Like what, Lydia?" So we get a couple of moments there, which is really cool.
Yeah, and like while all that is going on, we have Bryce learning about her heritage and her expectations which were not lived up to. Just there's so much to unwrap there. Pretty much the Asteri, we find out shorthand. Find out Asteri actually built the Dread Trove and the Cauldron. Which again, if you have not read Akatar, stop now because we are going to spoil the shit out of it. So please don't because that series is great. Go and read it. But yeah, the in the Cauldron is the kill switch for
The
that.
planet.
Yeah. Which I
So
mean,
it's like that was like a big drop for me. I was like, what? They like put in these little like kill switch moments. They put in these.
we know you all can't see the camera right now, but Ashley had her arms up like a little kid, and all of a sudden we just see a hoodie go over her.
I was cold, so Josh brought me my sweater and he put it over my head for me.
It was cute. It was very cute. But yeah, so the Dread Trove, which again, go read Akatar, but that's the harp, the mask, and the crown, which Nesta has control over, which that's like I feel like that would be like giving a 7-year-old firecrackers, personally. I don't really know how best to describe that whole situation, but you see Nesta using the mask during this
Then
to kill
Ezra's like,
the
don't do it.
yeah, he's like, you gotta go back. And like, I like how Nyx is the ultimate, like, snapper back to reality. Like I did not expect that. I was like, oh yeah, Cassian, like him saying, Cassian needs you, he loves you. But then going like, hey, what about Nyx? And then she immediately stops. I was like, what an anti thing to do. I feel like we all do that.
Mhm.
So
Uh,
I have to pull off on that one. So I've seen so many theories, and I can't remember, but somebody said that Nesta and Cass weren't real, like Feymates, and he never says he loves her in the books. And I'm like, I don't. And then like this scene came up, and I was like, crap, are they right? Because I
No,
am
there's in those
day
books it says
one
specifically
Nesta
because
Cassian forever. Hashtag forever and
no,
ever.
no, in the books it does like Cassian realizes it way ahead of Nesta, obviously,
Yeah,
because
like as soon as he
apparently
saw
females know that.
her.
But no, it is mentioned in the book. Like they are mates. Like they say that they are mates.
I
Yeah.
also feel like Sarah J. Maas isn't like Rebecca Yarros tends to do a lot more of like here's a couple of Easter eggs and like you figure it out. And I feel like Sarah J. Maas, like when she says something, she doesn't usually like go back on it.
Yeah.
You'll find a character that's been like working in the background sometimes pop out, but I feel like if she's like I don't think she's as deceptive with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Sarah J, to put it into food terms, because I love a good colloquialism, it's like me giving you hints that we're gonna have something for dinner that involves sauce and mozzarella and bread. And then like you're like, "Oh, it's going to be a pizza." And like I bring you a pizza, but it's actually a calzone. Like it's still the same thing, but it's just a little different kind of thing. She's good at that, but she usually
Only
leads you up.
2% of listeners will have been able to follow that, Kate.
And all of
Yay for
them
the
are
two
from New
percenters.
York.
I was like, what are we having for dinner? Like, what's happening? What are we having?
I went straight to you, but is it a calzone? Oh man.
Sorry.
But yeah,
We're
that's
having a
it.
We're terrible.
ADHD day.
She's good at the like gives you the lead up so you're like, yeah, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be this. But it may be that with a or it's gonna be something different, but usually it's that plus some. Like
Okay.
something that you should have caught on before, but you didn't register it.
All
So
right. So cut. I'm gonna catch you on the something is right in front of your face and you didn't realize it. Can we talk about Lydia and Ruhn?
there
Yes.
I
It
have to
was
say
right
it.
in front of your face.
I was right, and I knew it.
Kayla,
Sorry.
you
Actually trying to sidetrack me all those parts ago. But okay, Lydia, I think Lydia very clearly has to be Rune's mate and he's fighting it. Do you think that Lydia is going to make it out? Because I have a gut feeling she is not going to make it out. And that is why the Oracle says that he doesn't have a future or like he's the end of his line. Or is it because Bryce is going, like they're going to have a new line?
I
Like
think
Bryce will
that's our
become queen.
calzone moment.
Yeah, that's our calzone
Like,
moment.
I think it's like, okay, I think that's our calzone moment where it's like we might get a pizza, but we might not.
We're gonna end up with a calzone,
I
no
think it's all
sauce.
gonna be okay. Okay. I personally don't actually think Ruhn is gonna make it out of the story. I just finished part two of book three, so I don't
I
know if
think
this
Lydia.
is true. I don't know if this is true. I think they're gonna get out of prison. I think that's fine, but I don't think Ruhn. This is my prediction. I don't know this for sure, so this isn't a spoiler. This is just me being crazy. I don't think Ruhn's making it out of the story. I just have a really bad feeling because they've just given him all of this. I mean, I hope he does. I love Ruhn, Danon, Crown Prince of the Valbar and Fae, but I think that it's going to be the loss that Bryce has to deal with, another loss. I have a bad feeling. But I think Lydia, I think I think she
What
will
if they die
either get
together?
out. I think she'll either get out or like the book will be her continuing to like play the hind, kind of how she's doing right now.
Yeah. Either way, I loved a Lydia perspective. I just I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why. I just because Day is such an intriguing character. And then like now that I know I was right, um, I like hearing her point of view because we know her spy sense and know like knowing that she's got to live that double life and then her and Pollux's relationship. Like, oh my God, just listening to him talk to her. And then like she's a strong, independent woman who like had done some horrible things, but how does anybody take you seriously? Because he treats you like shit. So how is it like a whole thing? But I loved her.
I also, excuse me, I loved watching Lydia for the same reasons, and like we get to know her a little better because like you were saying, like we only got to see her like doing terrible, terrible shit. But now we get to see this other side of her, which is really great. And I agree completely. Like I love seeing her perspective on things. And I also like I think I like physically became ill having to listen to Pollux the way he talks to her, like you were saying, like she's such a strong character. And like just to see him completely degrade her is just like despicable. Like that's not what being a man is. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
I hate Pollux.
I hate Pollux too so much, and especially with Lydia. But you'll learn her motives and stuff, and then you understand everything. And but like Lydia becomes one of my favorite characters. Like just one, her POVs were really insightful, I think, for the story in the long run. But yeah, her and Ruhn Denning, Crown Prince of the Belbar and Fae, is definitely a top-notch shipping that I was so happy to see. Like, I just want everybody to be together and have perfect, happy endings. And so I'm sure you guys feel the same exact way.
Yeah, I love her and Rune's relationship. It's so, so sweet. I'm really happy. Well, they're in prison, but I'm
Yeah.
happy that they're close, I guess, like in a weird way. Um, it's like kind of crazy though, because like you would think he would it's just kind of annoying that he is shutting himself off to her right now when he should be. I know there's a scene in this first part where he does eventually say like, "Hey, like what's going on?" But at the
Mhm.
beginning he's like shut himself off to her completely, and it was just kind of heartbreaking because it's like she's still risking everything. Yeah, she's the Hind, but she's playing this role very much similar to what Rhysand does in Akatar.
Yeah.
But she's playing this role. She is doing terrible shit, but it's in the long run, like to maintain a position to help her set her up to like
Yeah.
take down the system, right? Um, and I'm like, Ruhn, just talk to her because at least while you're being tortured, you can go have some mind sex. Like, come on, dude.
I love the
So
fact
that
that
was tough.
you compared her to Reese, because as soon as like you start realizing like she's on the good side, all I was thinking is Rysand Mert like totally let an innocent girl get tortured and killed by Amarantha for the love of his life. So it kind of was like I see the person, and maybe it's because we had the Akatar crew pulled into this story where I started making more of those connections and understandings. Um, since you were talking about mind thoughts between Ruhn, Dan, and Crown Prince Belbar and Faye, um, Hunt and his visions of Bryce and little
And
Brycey
the
Hunty baby,
babies.
like fangirled hard on those. Fangirled so hard.
It's cute that that's what
It
keeps him
was so
going.
cute.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm,
And I loved hearing that like Hunt's perspective, like he's trying to stay emotionally sound in his torture and stuff. And he's like, it's much better with people here. But then like I want to say within the same chapter, he's like, no, no, it's not. This is awful because before it was just him, like he just had to worry about, but now like he's got two plays that Pollux can just beat into to get like manipulate. So that was like hard, but at the same time, I loved the that he's staying positive. He's like, I got to get out of here. Bryce and I have to have our kids. Like, we have to have our future. So, but yeah, and I hope Lydia's plans go well. To get the boys out, especially with her little fire sprite of her own, which I was just like, Lahaba would be proud.
I feel
I
like
yeah.
go ahead, Sam.
I was just saying like all of like the so oh wait, I do have a question though. This is not the same line as Lahaba. Like the one Fire Sprite Queen that she meets
Yeah,
is the same line or no?
It's a different line, but it's
different
still like
line.
the queen ancestry thing. So like there
Yeah.
was the sprite that led the rebellion with Hunt. Um, her line died, and then this new line was the next in line. So Lahaba's ancestor fought with the original queen, but and I think that that's what inspired the new little queen because like knowing that I hate to say subjects, but like her subjects and her people were so devout in following their monarch that's pretty like powerful. So,
I
but
just
yeah.
So
feel
like
like my
so
friends
the
are
Fire
with
Sprites
me
are
and not
like
afraid is like a whole entire trend throughout the books. Because you see, like the boys are getting tortured, but my friends are with me and I'm not afraid. Like I feel like that's like such a
What,
huge trend throughout the stories now. It's just like it
what were you
sticks with you.
saying, Sam?
oh I
You had a theory brewing,
um
I know.
no, not in a theory. It's just that like it's the Fire Sprites keep coming up and up and up, and it's because like I feel like they're firmly team anti-Asteri. Like they're fully in camp, like we will destroy this if we can, if given the chance. Like I think that's why they keep popping up over and over. Um, I
Well,
feel
we
it's
know
just
I saw it, I thought the same exact thing you are thinking, because fire is untamable. Like in a sense, you know. So the Siri wants complete and 100% control, but fire is untamable. Fire is free will and stuff. So that I thought that's what I thought that was a characteristic of you know, them. So I'm right there with you.
So we need to touch base on Ethan. Um, and the turmoil. It's like everybody's going. So Connor, he's obviously freed Sigrid, and they end up over at the Viper Queens and like trying to get Farian out. And Farian, he's kind of just dealing with it, but I think that he's starting to see the like what he's done. Like this was a rash decision kind of thing. And the Viper Queen offers Connor like you get to fight like one fight, and then he has to fight Sigrid, and then he accidentally kills Sigrid. I was like, what the hell? Like, no, 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 no. That's his pact. No, 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 no. And yep, and it was all just one step. It was just a misstep
how do you
on both
accidentally
part. Like,
behead someone?
I know. Like, I was like, even if
Like,
you're going
come
for a
on,
shoulder, like,
Ethan.
okay, let's say you're going for this shoulder, and I'm not gonna like, I can like see point of contact. Are you that bad?
Do we think it's foul play? Like, do we think the Viper Queen maybe gave him a little bit of her Viper so he's or of her venom so he's like hallucinating a little bit?
No, I think that it
Because it didn't.
was a combination. I think, to be very honest, I felt like the Viper Queen had this whole thing set up with uh what's her face, Danica's mom. I feel like this was a whole setup, and like I think that the Viper Queen and her actually like have an agreement, and this was part of the agreement. Or it's to push Connor into the alpha position because the leader of the pack,
Prime.
Danica's yeah, Prime, um wants Connor to be an alpha, start his own pack.
Hmm.
Um, so also I have been referring to that tr it's not even a trio, that group of our frat boys as the Hardy Boys. Because I was like, this feels like straight out of a Hardy Boys novel.
They are very
But
Hardy Boys.
the frat boys, which is yeah, they're just that whole thing was like again, there's so much that got unloaded in the first section of this book, and it's usually this is what happens at the end of part two, not at the beginning of part one. So that was difficult. And then, which is also where I realized that I want every character in Crescent City to have a Disney ending. And I know that's not going to happen, but that's what I wanted.
It just is crazy
So,
because she did so much work to like get us to understand what was her name? The wolf. Oh my God, Sigrid. They
Sigrid.
like so much to understand who Sigrid was and like these little interactions. And Sigrid's like kind of annoying and she kind of like she doesn't know like anything because she was given to the or sold to the astronomer when she was like what, 4? She was little.
yeah.
She knew nothing. So her whole life is spent in a tank and like doing the bidding of the astronomer, right? So she doesn't really know what's happening in real life. So she's like so out of touch. And it's kind of funny to see all this, but we spent so much time because she gives off alpha vibes and she and Ethan have this kind of like back and forth. And I'm like, are they gonna make her his mate? Are they gonna have their own pack? Like, are they gonna have a pack together? And then for this moment, especially knowing Ethan had been um disowned by his pack, right? He doesn't have anyone. Um he has the Hardy Boys, but but he doesn't have his own wolf pack. So seeing so much of them and for that just to be destroyed instantly by him, literally by him, is kind of crazy. I also was just like, why don't you just refuse to fight? Just like refuse, just knock her out. I think that's what he was trying to do, and he cut her head off
Yeah.
instead. His like fangs or his like claws came out or
He was
something.
trying to injure her shoulder so that she would tap out because she was going full force. She thought that she had a chance, which I mean, like he said that she had the instincts of an alpha, but like girl, you've been in a tank for like 20 years. Like, what made you think that you were gonna like beat Connor Holstrom, some ball pro player? Like, come on. Um, but yeah, she didn't have anything, and then that whole thing was just devastating.
But I don't
And then
understand why she was actually fighting back. Do you think she and the Viper Queen made a deal?
that's the only thing, right? That's the only
I don't like, I just genuinely was like, why? Like, you literally don't have to do this. Like,
yeah,
he
Connor set you
did.
free.
He could have just like knocked her out. I would have been like, cool, I'll take him for the team. Just punch me. I yield. And that's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I didn't get
And it's
that.
weird that Connor kept like escalating it too. I don't know. That whole scene just didn't like there's something off there. Like something just doesn't sit right with me with that scene. Maybe I don't know. I just don't get it. But then Connor, or sorry, not Connor, Ethan. Oh my gosh, we keep doing that. Your boy Connor. Ethan ends up going like not joining Therian, Declan, and Flynn on the depth. What is it? The depth charger?
Depth
Yeah.
charger.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They which is taking them to what, the Ocean Queen, right? That's where the depth charger goes. So he goes back and he's like, I have to right my wrong. What the hell? Like, I don't like what, there's no righting this wrong, buddy. You need therapy.
That's what I was literally thinking, like, what's he gonna do? Like, you gonna go
What
to the
you gonna do
Fendiers and
when
be
she
like,
comes to
hey, I killed the
Rose?
air for you, Sabine. That's her name. I killed the air for you, Sabine. Can I have back in? Like, what are you gonna do next? Like, honestly, stop trying to live up to an expectation that you're already at. Like, I don't know. But so the last big thing I want to talk about is Bryce getting her Mario level up and saying deuces to the night court. Literally the last little bit was like her bouncing like fighting Nesta, and that whole time was the Mario theme song, going thing in my head. No, where it's like where he's got the level up and it just speeds up everything. Um, but I also want to state that nothing in this
Nope,
section of
can't
book,
say it.
nothing in this section of book makes me like Nesta anymore. She's still a bitch. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Hashtag
Oh
said
my
like a little
God.
sister.
Yeah, she's still a bitch.
Hashtag Team Nesta all the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you gotta think she's a bitch to protect others. So, like, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm always Team Nesta,
but I
even if
just
she's a
feel like the
bitch.
whole thing was like Bryce essentially told you, she said half truths because she didn't know she could trust them. She didn't know if they were part of the stare. Like, so that's why her half truths. But the information was told, and then they're like, well, we don't want any of your shit. We don't want any of that. So it's like, okay, they just told you that other Fae from this world are here and we're in danger and need help. And their solution was, well,
Well, let me remind
let
you.
you can take your own property. It was like Azrael was given.
Sorry, Kayla is having a couple little
Kayla is
technical
gone.
issues. She's having some technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on. We'll go back to her theories.
But,
Um,
well,
I'm
Kayla,
a little more like mid, like I don't really know if I take a harsh stance on Nesta. Um, like I think she's a bitch, but I also like kind of get it.
I do too. And like, I'm the same way. But also, I'm thinking, because I read all these books in quick succession with one another. So I went with like, oh, they still are technically they're still on edge waiting and fighting, the queens in Akatar and stuff. They're still an enemy, and they have fought really freaking hard to have a somewhat peaceful moment, you know so I understand where Nesta and all of the crew are getting it, especially when a girl shows up in something that is not normal to them. But the fact that Bryce did take on the night court in hot pink shoes and leggings is a total boss move for me.
No, it was so funny. I love this whole part. Like Kayla was saying in the beginning, it's like it's funny because this is the third book of the series. This is the last book. So this is where it's all coming together. So like usually like book one and two, like the first two thirds are kind of like, yeah, whatever. And then like the last third is like crazy till the end. And now I feel like it's not like it's crazy right now, but there's a lot happening. There's a lot of information. Um, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, like everything ties together. Like you're not gonna have like cliffhangers or like you might have a couple more questions, but everything gets settled and answered for the most part in this book. And like the pacing is like that the entire book. It's literally like imagine all three books are just one book and you're in the final page, like final 100. That's how you have to look at it.
It's
So
just a lot. And then it's probably a good thing that my computer went out on me because I was ranting. It's just so hard because I'm not the biggest Nesta fan, and so it's just a struggle because you see the whole picture. And like I get it. It's not their world. But at the same time, like if someone needs help, like yeah, I'm just one of those people, I guess.
I don't know if I would open up my world to a parasite that's gonna steal all of our magic.
So
especially, I mean, we'll talk about it more later. I'm not going to bring it up
I'm
today.
sure they're gonna come back. Like I'm sure they're gonna roll in. We're gonna be like, what is that? Oh, It's Rhysand.
Well, I also love
He's
that
Ruhn's
Bryce.
uncle, daddy, cousin,
Yeah,
somebody.
Bryce immediately was like, she was like, Ruhn? And then she's like, no, that's not Ruhn. It
That's
looks
not my
like Ruhn.
brother.
I also love that we just decided to completely skip the history lesson that we got from Thea in the cave. We're like, nah, I'm not diving into that. Like, if you guys want to go read it, go read it. I
There's
was
so
never,
much
There's
bull.
so
there's
much better
so
stuff.
much.
There's
There's
so much
so
better.
much.
I'm surprised Kayla didn't have like a detailed history map pulled up, Miss Queen of History.
The thing is that I could follow along, but it got to a point where it's like, okay, we get it, bad guys, not helpful. And then like Thea and her mom and her sisters and like she straight abandoned her people. Straight abandoned them, left them, and then like her sister's line and stuff like that is on that side. But yeah, like there's so much to dive into, like folks, bad people, um, poor Bryce that she like had to, for someone who loves history like Bryce and her ancestry, it's sad to see that they were such a letdown. So, and like, I mean, awful letdown.
All right, what are your guys' hope besides Kayla's Disney Happily Ever Afters? Hopes and dreams for part two.
No comment.
No comment. That's because you're already
I
advancing into it.
I just want Ruhn and I just want Ruhn to live and I hope Lydia lives too. I know it's not going to happen. I just know because anytime I'm invested in a side character like that, they're going to die. I know they're going to
Arguably,
die.
they're not side characters anymore, though.
But it's like Connor. Like I was so invested in Connor from one chapter. And then
Yeah.
look what happened.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's hard to tell what'll happen next as far as like the big battle. Obviously, they're gonna take down the Asteri. Like that's obviously gonna happen.
or at least make them run. So,
Oh, maybe they make them run. What's the other series that Sarah J. Maas has? What's the other one? Is it
uh,
the
uh,
Throne of Glass.
yeah,
Throne of
Thor Glass.
Glass? Is that the same world?
So that one is prequels to ACOTAR, from my understanding.
Yeah, because there's a whole thing about some characters being the ancestors to
Yeah.
Rhysand. I
Oh,
haven't read it yet, but
but like, so it doesn't tie into this stuff. Like it
I don't
won't
think so.
cross.
I don't think
Well,
But
so.
maybe
so
the next ACOTAR book will cross.
I do know like some things pop up, like, but I don't know full on details. I haven't gone crazy deep diving in because, I do know for a fact that Throne of Glass series is absolutely emotionally turmoil and destruction, which is why I am like avoiding reading it.
So, in other words, there's not like, or maybe she is planning like a sequel or like another series where the Asteri strike again on a different planet. I don't know.
Dun dun dun. Maybe
I
we'll
don't
get a
know.
version
The
for now.
Asteri Strike Back. It'll be like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Asteri Strikes Back.
Crescent City Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, I don't know. I think that so I finished part 2. So nothing crazy is happening in my like this is not a spoiler because I don't know if this happens, but like I think they're just gonna beat the Asteri. I also think Rhysand is gonna come back. Like I don't think they just met them for no reason. I don't think like she could have just gone off to a cave on their current world and found all this out. Like I think there's a reason she met Azriel and Nesta and everyone else, but I think there's a reason. Um, so I hope that Lydia and Ruhn live happily ever after. I so far Ruhn's okay, but I don't think he's making it out. I don't think he's making it out of the book. Just those are my two things that
Sam's
I'm
just
like
gonna
this
stop reading before it happens. That's what
I'm
Sam's
just
gonna
gonna
do.
stop.
He'll
I'm gonna
forever be
stop.
there.
Nothing will
Well,
be as traumatizing as Lahaba though, so we're okay.
uh, I feel like I'd be pretty traumatized about Ruhn because I was traumatized about Connor and Lahaba. But Until next time, Nessa's still a bitch. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.